Like a shiny jewel nestled among 1,000 hills stands Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Nearly 2 decades after the dark days of the 1994 genocide, Rwanda has emerged with an almost tangible air of optimism and purpose. Rwanda's leadership has developed Vision 2020. Working in tandem towards the Millennium Development Goals, this development blueprint aims to raise the living standards of Rwanda's citizenry by taking a pro-poor approach. The provision of clean water and basic sanitation to the urban poor is regarded as a logical entry point to achieving many of the MDGs.
The MDG goals, the objective is to reduce by half. But in 2005, for example, we had an excess of 45%. But our target for 2015 is 92% for water. So you see, we have bigger targets than what the target that are set for MDG.
UN Habitat, under the Water for African Cities program, has partnered with the government of Rwanda and a number of non-governmental organizations to help achieve both national and global targets for water and sanitation.
We originally started off working on 3 principal areas. One was on water demand management, the second on protection of water resources from the impacts of urbanization, and the third area was dissemination and outreach. But that recently has, in the past 5 years, has been expanded to include other priority areas such as sanitation, monitoring, and specific focus on the urban poor.
Due to its geographical location in the Great Lakes region of Eastern Africa, water resources in Rwanda are plentiful, but only 12% of this water is used. The quality is being deteriorated due to improper use, poor sanitation, and inadequate water conservation. Water is supplied to the city of Kigali by the Rwanda Water and Sanitation Corporation, RWASCO. Kigali requires 60,000 cubic meters of water a day, and 25,000 of this is pumped from a unique formation of underground wells on the banks of river Nyabarongo.
In our company, it is the first plant which treats underground water. The treatment is also specific. The biological removal of manganese, iron and ammonia.
Masaka sector on the outskirts of Kigali is home to some of the resettlement sites that housed the survivors of the 1994 genocide. These sites have experienced serious challenges regarding access to clean water and have been selected as pilot sites for the program. The majority of the beneficiaries in this area are child-headed households, widows, and people living with HIV and AIDS. Here, the water supply network has been extended and 240 low-income households have been connected at no cost to the consumers. To ensure sustainability of the infrastructure and the service, however, a minimal consumption fee is charged. The tariff is subsidized by the government.
Masaka nucleus in itself was having very many problems of water because the Water Corporation had not made many of the installations. UN Habitat came up to top up what was there, and this has helped us in different homesteads where even the occupants were vulnerable and could not afford to buy water, which was expensive.
Bosco Hakorimana is 26 years old. He shares this house at the Hope Cell with others who were left orphans by the genocide. Prior to this intervention, he found it difficult to find time to study when so much of his free time was spent fetching water.
Before UN Habitat brought us water, we had problems. Life changed after we got the water. Before, we fetched water from far, but now we can study properly because the water is close by.
Not far from Hope Cell is Bwiza, a settlement that houses women widowed by the genocide and people living with HIV and AIDS. Here we meet Odette Mukantayomba, a small-scale trader who used to spend a good part of her day queuing for untreated water from the nearby swamp. After the intervention by Water for African Cities, she can spend her day being more productive and spending quality time with her children.
After this project by UN Habitat, I no longer spend time lining up for water. We have benefited from clean piped water, and I can now spend more time with my small children and doing my business.
In many African cities, water and sanitation facilities in schools are in such a dire state that children face a serious health hazard simply by attending school. Teenage girls often drop out of school due to inadequate toilet facilities. The sanitation component of the Water for African Cities program has addressed these concerns by making significant investment in schools in Kigali. The Masaka Secondary School community comprises just over 1,700 pupils and 36 teachers. Prior to this intervention, the sanitation facilities were far from adequate, but the school has benefited tremendously from the Water for African Cities program. 40 new toilets have been constructed here, and the project has gone beyond the basics to take an environmental and entrepreneurial approach. The new toilets are of the EcoSan variety. At the rear of each cubicle, there is a special chamber that holds the waste for collection. The waste is then dried and processed to make fertilizer for the school garden and for sale.
In collaboration with UN Habitat as our important partner, we help us to train the teachers how we can use these latrines and how we can use the waste as a fertilizer and how we can maintain these latrines.
The value of demonstration projects such as this lies in the capacity of governments and local authorities to upscale and replicate them. The government of Rwanda has set up formal structures to realize this goal.
The government has put up a project, which is a national water supply and sanitation project, which is responsible to replicate good practices that we face on the way with our partners. And for this case, what UN Habitat is doing already, it is replicated in other parts of the country.
As African cities continue to act as engines of growth, the continent's population will in turn continue to migrate to urban centers. The demands on governments to provide adequate sanitation and water supply will keep rising, putting enormous pressure on resources and leaving the leadership playing catch-up to the citizens' needs. Initiatives like the Water for African Cities program play a vital role in bridging the demand gap to ensure sustainable access to proper sanitation and safe drinking water, not just for the affluent in society, but focusing on the urban poor. Through pro-poor governance, the Water for African Cities program continues to leave a tangible impact on the lives of the underprivileged, giving them a lifeline to a better future.